guys? It's Sava, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make beef empanadas. If you like empanadas, you definitely have to try out this recipe. These are not those empanadas that you get that are just like, they have a tiny little bit of filling. No, these are stuffed full of juicy, delicious, really flavorful beef. I highly recommend you try them. And I'm gonna throw in a little bonus recipe in there of like this green salsa that I make to take your empanada game to the next level. I highly recommend that you make the salsa that goes along with empanadas. The other day I made these for a client and I came home and Diego told me, I want empanadas. So guess what? Today he's getting his wishes. Come along with me. Let's make Diego some beef empanadas. Okay, so for our empanadas, we are gonna be using ground beef, celery, onion, some jalapeños. If you don't like spicy, feel free to use just a regular green pepper, garlic, empanada dough. This is actually like extra large empanada dough. It's 6-inch. You can also use the smaller ones, whatever size you have. It will just make more. I'm using this Goya sazón. If you don't have it, mostly it's just for color and a little bit of flavor. You could add some extra paprika into yours. Tomato paste, oregano, adobo. If you don't have adobo, so this is kind of, I don't know, like an all-purpose seasoning that in New York, it's really easy to find. In other places, it's not as easy to find. But if you look here, really all it is salt, garlic, black pepper, oregano, and turmeric, though it doesn't add much color, but you could just use those ingredients instead. Also gonna use some coriander, cumin, paprika. This is smoked paprika that I bought by accident. I prefer regular paprika, but we'll use a smoked for today. Carrot, and I think that's about it. We'll also probably add some salt, pepper, maybe some chili flake, depending on how spicy the jalapeños are. And I don't know if I'm missing anything else. I don't think so, but these are the ingredients. All right, so let's start by chopping up the veg. I always like to get most of the strings out of the celery just by peeling it like that. So if you can't see, I just kind of rip off the bottom and pull. And then we want a pretty fine dice on this, so I'll cut it like that. And again, the reason why we want the fine dice is because this is gonna get stuffed into empanadas and I just don't want any big pieces sticking out. So celery, done. Jalapeños. Let's see how spicy these are. The best way to see the spiciness is to check this end. Well, to check where the white part is. So what I like to do is to cut, if you can see, I'm not cutting through it all the way. I'm kind of leaving the end intact so you can see. You see it's kind of, oh, I'm missing seeds, I'm losing seeds. But you can see it's kind of keeping intact. So then I turn that the opposite way, cut through again. And so it's kind of ready just to slice up. Then to check spiciness, I always take this end and just lick it. That's spicy. Okay, I like spicy, so I'm gonna use that, but I don't think I need this other one, so the other one I'll save for something else. And onion. Lastly, we can cut up this garlic, but it's not gonna go into the pan with the rest of the vegetables. That's good enough for me. All right, so in my pan, I have about 1.5 pounds of ground beef that I'm just gonna break up. And I didn't add any oil in here. I think the beef is fatty enough. And I don't want the empanadas to be extra greasy. So that, along with the celery, onion, jalapeno, a nice handful of carrot, some salt, not too much because we're going to be adding adobo and sazón, and black pepper. And I'm just gonna mix this up and start letting it cook. Okay, now that the beef has started to release some of its juices and get cooked, I'm gonna start adding in the spices. 2 packets of Goya sazón. It's gonna give it that nice color. Again, you could add paprika instead. Adobo. This kind of gives it that classic Caribbean flavor. Some oregano, coriander, cumin, paprika, and tomato paste. I actually had some frozen, so I'm gonna use the frozen tomato paste that I had instead of the can. Ooh, garlic. Add in the garlic. And we just wanna break everything up and mix it all in. And remember, the adobo and the sazón both have salt in it. If you're not using either of those, make sure you add salt. And we'll taste it at the end for seasoning as well. I really like seeing this filling a nice reddy color. Reddish. Make sure to break up any big clumps of meat, because those are hard to fold into the empanada. All right, let's give this a little taste for seasoning. And remember, we want this pretty heavily spiced because it's going into a dough. The worst thing is that this is not flavorful, and then you just have a bland empanada, and who wants that? All right. Looks good to me. On to the next. Okay, now that the beef mixture is done, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl to cool for a little bit because we don't want the filling to be super hot when it goes into the empanada dough. Otherwise, it's really hard to work with. So I'm going to put it in a bowl, and I think I'll put it in the fridge for maybe 15-20 minutes, and I'll show you the next steps once the mixture cools down. Okay, so for this green salsa, it's pretty simple. We're gonna be using mayo, Greek yogurt. I'm using 5%, but you can use 0 as well, whatever you have. We're also using cilantro, lime, jalapeno. I'm gonna be using adobo, but if you don't have it, use garlic powder, fresh garlic, salt, and that's good enough. I might add in some salt, pepper, and I think that's about it. It's really, really simple. All right, now everything kind of just goes in the blender. And add as much jalapeno as you like. I like it spicy, and this is a very spicy jalapeno, so we'll see how one does. I don't have that much Greek yogurt left. I'm just gonna use what's left of this. I'm gonna add about half a cup of mayo as well. Maybe a little bit more. You can also just fully leave out the mayo and use more Greek yogurt if you want to make this healthier. Adobo. And then squeeze in your lime juice. Let's give this a blend and a taste. Let's see how this is looking. Well, we got some stragglers in there, but let's see. Oh, it tastes pretty good. I think it could use some more spice and some more mayo. I'm gonna add in another jalapeno, some more mayo, and then try to get the lid back on, mix it back up. All right, taste test, check 2. So here we are this time. Okay, the flavor is really good. I like things really spicy. I don't have any more jalapenos. We're going in with the crushed red chili flakes. All right, that should be good. And the one thing that I do want to say about the crushed red chili flakes is that I feel like as they sit in there, it does get spicier. So don't go crazy when you add them at first, and you can always add more. So I'm gonna put this in a little container and let it sit. All right, so my filling has cooled down and we're ready to start making our empanadas. Okay, one issue that I did have, because I'm a total mess, is that I did drop these in the grocery store, so some of them may be broken. They come frozen, so some of them may be broken. I had to let them defrost in the fridge. Oop, yep, can already see some of them a little broken. But guess what? We won't let that stop us. We're all good. And they come with sheets in between, which make them really easy to separate. Just like that. We'll start with the little ugly duckling first. Okay, so this is how I like to do it. I like to just take a little bowl of water and my finger and just wet the empanada kind of halfway around. Then take your filling. As I said, this is like a big empanada wrapper. And I'm gonna fill her up. I'm going to use the plastic to help me flip it over. I like to use my fingers to just give it a light press to start. And then I use a fork and just start to crimp the edges. I hope you can see this. Like that. That took me, what, a minute, maybe? And then I just like to line a tray with parchment paper while I continue on. So water, half moon, filling, and like I said before, you could add beans in here. You could do this with chicken, turkey, cheese. Use my fingers, just kind of give it a little bit of a crimp close. Any filling that's coming out, push it in and press down. You don't want to press so hard that you go through to the other side. You just want to press hard enough to make sure that it is closed. I see. Just like that. Alright, so I have my beautiful tray of empanadas, and I do have some leftover filling. Don't throw away this filling. I just save it in the fridge and we'll eat it with rice or maybe in tacos or something. This recipe makes 8 of the really big ones with this leftover filling as well, but I would say it makes probably 2 packages of the 5-inch round empanada wrappers. It makes probably about 20 of the 5-inch empanadas. But because I just had 1 of the extra large ones, I decided to make the recipe this way, but you get the idea. Okay, so in this pot here, I have some vegetable oil heating up over kind of like a medium-high heat. I like to use a smaller pot for this just because then I don't have to use as much oil, but use whatever pot or pan you like. What I did notice here is one of my empanadas opened up. It is really important to keep these closed, so I'm just gonna pinch this closed. Otherwise the filling will leak out and it might like spit and pop at you. No good, no want. That is how I got this disgusting, terrible burn. So let's see if it's hot enough. Nope, not yet. You wanna see a little sizzle and that will let you know that your oil's hot enough. All right, I'm starting to see some bubbles there when I put the empanada down, so I'm gonna lay this first one in. And you wanna put it away from you. That's one. And two. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of paper towel here for the empanadas when they're done. All right, that one's getting nice and brown on the first side. I'm gonna flip. Sometimes I like to use a fork as well. So I would say about a minute and a half on each side. Maybe not even on the second side. Maybe about a minute on the second side. Some of the oil drain off. Be careful here. You don't want it to drop. Two more. Adjust the heat if you feel like the oil's too hot. I just lowered my heat a little bit. One thing you also definitely do not want is that your oil is too cold, otherwise your empanadas will be super greasy, and that is not what we want. That's exactly what we want to see, like these golden bubbles. Oh yeah. All right, I'm just going to continue making these empanadas and I'll show you when they're all done. Oh my God. Look at these empanadas. How lucky is Diego, my husband? So lucky to have a wife like me. So linda, preciosa, inteligente, humilde. So lucky to have a wife that cooks empanadas like these. Let me just, you know what? Let me just give you a little money shot. Empanada. How should we do this? What's the best way? Pour or dunk? Let's do the dunk. Okay. Salsa empanada. Oh yeah. Let's go. Yup. I'm dropping. What did I tell you? Baby, we don't do empty empanadas. We don't do it. These are so good. I gotta put that down. I gotta eat more. These are so good. Crispy. Listen. You hear that? Oh yeah. Full of beef, full of flavor. Highly recommend you try them out. If you like empanadas, if your family likes empanadas, if you have somebody you want to impress, highly recommend it making these beef empanadas today. And thank me later. All right, see you next time. Oh, also, if you want the full recipe, you can check out my website, savasnacks.com. See you later. Bye.